welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real, metaphysical, and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week, we're going to be discussing the book Draconia by author M A Ricard. But first, a short message from someone whose head's actually emptier than mine. Bob, take it away.
Well, hello there, seekers and prospective dabblers alike. I'm sure many of you have likely heard this before, but the Dark Roast Monster here is having me read this before I can go back to what I was doing, so please bear with me. Please consider supporting Drake and everything he is working on by utilizing the YouTube memberships. For each tier of said memberships, you may find that you unlock additional perks, such as private live streams, monthly spell workings, and others. Also, feel free to peruse some of our merchandise on our shop's page. We have t-shirts, towels, mugs, and many other items and garments, each with their own bit of art on them, like the Draconic Rulers and the Dragon's Eye Seal. We also have this one hosting regular live streams on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're one admin I'm thinking of in particular, remember to convert the time zone and set an alarm. At these streams, you can listen in on Drake's latest work, ask him questions, and generally have a decently thought-out discussion. For those looking for a more long-term involvement with the community, others to talk shop with, or peers to learn and develop alongside, please check out our community on Guilded. There, you'll find a variety of different people and different cultures and practices, and in one of the admin's case, a wonderful use of the mute button. I mean, that blonde one just, when he goes on a rant, he just goes, and doesn't stop. I mean, does he ever shut... What? Oh, okay, fine. I'm on topic. For all interested in set, easy-to-follow courses on magic and its many facets, take a look at Drake's online school on teachable.com. Here, he hosts a steadily growing roster of courses on different topics of magic. If you find that you don't see something that you're looking for, let us know. We'll try to find it or incorporate it in the future. From beginner to learned adept, all should find something that they didn't know prior. Links for everything I've mentioned in the description below.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Now, I have been getting a lot of emails and messages asking me my opinion of this book. Now, first off, I will say it actually took me a lot to track this down. Someone has told me it was previously published in French, and it's not a new book, it's just new to English. So, I tried to confirm that in some way. I was unable to do so, but that's okay. Now, I personally have not read any books by this particular author, but being as it's on Dragon Magick, I wanted to give it a look-see. I'll admit, when I picked it up, I read the back of the book and the cover, I was immediately wary because it comes off very arrogant and egotistical. Almost as if he's making claims as every practitioner on this planet outside him has it wrong. He's the only one that knows what he's doing. Which is actually funny when we get into the core of it. Because it's called The Teachings of True Dragon Magick. But I always set that aside because let's be honest, this is advertising, you know? I mean, some people use kind of, edgy little stuff to advertise. I mean, heck, I don't really use any cliches. I'm just trying to be honest and outspoken and my goofy southern. I guess that's how I do it. But at the same time, I do talk about the fact that, I try to take a scientific, non-spiritual approach to magic that I believe works for more people because it's so versatile. So maybe that's my gimmick. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. I did actually start to read it. And I actually read through it, and I even tried out a few of the rituals. What caught me, though, is this is almost a revamp of DJ Conway's Dancing with Dragons, in truth. He basically took Dancing with Dragons and redid it. Up to and including Conway's names for the Draconic rulers. He uses the exact same names. He uses similar descriptions to the different types of dragons, and he keeps it limited to the types of dragons she did. Now, what I will say is, what I did like is where Dancing with Dragons was heavily Wicca flavored with a touch of ceremonial practices in there to differentiate it. This is heavily ceremonial magic based. So this goes deeper into the ceremonial magic side than Dancing with Dragons did. In fact, when we talk about the tools, he has the exact same tools listed that Conway had to the letter. Which, there's nothing wrong with that. He does mention the Dragon Pentacle. Again, this is the only book where you'll see the Dragon Pentacle outside Dancing with Dragons. And then he goes into a system of degrees like you would see in ceremonial magic. Now, because of this, and it's so heavily in ceremonial magic, one of the reasons it took me so long to review this is I also wanted to see to it a few ceremonial practitioners who that's their entire thing, that's what they do, reviewed it with me and was able to talk about it. Now, from a ceremonial magic standpoint, their opinion was, in all honesty, that this is extremely watered down ceremonial magic. Though the focus is still ceremonial practice, if you're interested in ceremonial magic, they would not recommend this book because it does not do a good job of representing ceremonial magic. In which case, they would recommend books like Modern Magic and the like. Which, I agree, Modern Magic is a very good book on ceremonial magic. It's also laid out really well, in my opinion. But, to be fair, Modern Magic is like fat thick. It's a much, much larger book. Now, at times in this book, he does kind of come off as the dragons are the ultimate good in the multiverse kind of concept, and y'all know when we get into those, I get iffy, so I set that aside personally. Because there's a lot of people who do work with dragons and almost have a spiritual or even religion side about it. Dragons may not like to be worshipped, but they also understand that this kind of mentality can help humans from time to time. So, personal preference and flavor there. He did rework both the Lesser Banishing Ritual, the Celtic Cross, and stuff like that to be used with the first four rulers. Again, using Conway's names for them. Now, one of the things that I noticed is I've flipped through here several times after reading it. I did not see DJ Conway's name anywhere. Now, that bothered me. Because, seriously, this is almost perfectly lifted from her work, up to and including the script that she herself told me wasn't channeled. It was something that, she put together. And working with the dragons, they have never once used the script, yet here it is in the exact same layout as it was in her book. I mean, I'm half tempted to get Dancing with Dragons and photocopy it to see if it's the same page. So he does use the same script as well. You do have what he calls the Draconic Cross, which is his version of the first part of the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, though he actually he calls the ritual the Draconic Cross, but in essence it is the Draconic Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. Because he doesn't just stop at the cross section, if I remember right. I'm looking at it here. No, he does not. So, yeah, he goes through the whole thing. And then he does have a Draconic Hexagram Ritual as well. Talks about setting up your altars, opening rites. So, my takeaway on this book. Am I a personal fan of this book? Not really, no. I kind of don't like it when someone literally takes and almost completely redoes a book and doesn't even tip their hat to the original creator, that's a personal beef. So can't really use that against the work directly. That's just a personal beef. I'll admit, the rituals, I tried them. They didn't feel, they worked. They didn't have the oomph I'm used to. And my ceremonial friends who worked with me on this, they also found them a little lackluster. But they would say that they were functional, and from a beginner standpoint, not a bad way. And that's kind of a good thing. So, if you are interested in Dragon Magick, or you're interested in adding a ceremonial flavor to Dragon Magick, I would actually say this is a reasonable book to pick up and may be worth the read and worth working through, adding it to your Dragon Magick library and building upon it. Now, I would even say if you wanted to take, like, let's say the courses that we have over at workingdragonmystic.com, work through those and even utilize the ceremonial systems he's got here in relation with those, it could work. You could do it. One of the things that I did do is I opened up a couple of his rituals with the Dragon's Flame ritual, and I did notice I got a better result for me. So that could just be a preferential thing there. He does mix some of the Dragon Magick with some of the Hebrew and stuff like that. So some people may not like the fact that he does still use a lot of the Hebrewic stuff from ceremonial magic. That's the reason a lot of people steer clear of ceremonial magic. I get that. But I do actually find it to be a relatively fascinating read because, first off, there is no one true path. No matter what he says, there is no one true path. We're all trying to get somewhere, and we can all take different roads and pathways. So, his ego of one true path aside, I do actually find this take on Dragon Magick interesting because that's just it. It is a new take on Dragon Magick, and it's a take that we need. There's so little published out there on Dragon Magick, and a lot of it is, if you can even find it, it's usually either full-blown fictional or non-functional at all, and in some cases it's been full-on dangerous. I mean, so to find a book that is reasonably functional and would work for someone new, maybe not a perfectly brand new person, that could be argued to some extent. Some people would do well picking up ceremonial style practice early. Some would not. So that's kind of, you're going to have to judge yourself on that one. But I would say this is at least beginner friendly to some extent. And if it's not beginner friendly, once you've done your general 101 in magic and you got an understanding of what's going on, you're still beginner, you're not really adept or intermediate, this would still be good. Easily. So I would actually be okay recommending it as a starter Dragon Magick book. Like I said, it was hard for me to get a hold of. I hope that changes because we do need more literature on Dragon Magick and more points of view out there. So I do hope that changes out a bit. But for those people who have been wanting more ceremonial style workings, because I know a lot of people have been asking me for like a Dragon Lesser Banishing Ritual, the Pentagram and the like, which I have built in the past and I have done. And mine is different from his, definitely, but they are so similar that if you wanted to get started with a ceremonial style practice in Dragon Magick, this ain't a bad way to start. This is not a bad way to start at all. And one of the ceremonial magicians actually has taken my Dragon Magick 101 and 102 course, and from his perspective, a lot of the alterations he's made from, adjusting what the dragons have taught him to ceremonial magic, this actually would have been a kind of a help in that early on, though he still doesn't like how watered down the ceremonial magic is in that. But that's all he does is ceremonial magic, so that makes sense. Whereas I love ceremonial magic, but I don't want to go all in and get all the bits and bobbles and go into depth like he does. So for someone more on my spectrum, this is kind of nice. So if you are interested in Dragon Magick and a ceremonial format of Dragon Magick, at the end of the day, I know I've been a little harsh. I know, and I try not to be. So I want to close by saying I would actually, recommend reading this at the very least and trying it out. See what you think of it. It is a good take on Dragon Magick. It is a good take on utilizing ceremonial magic in Dragon Magick. So I would recommend at least reading through it and getting your opinion and evaluation and seeing if it is for you. Now, if you know you're not interested in ceremonial magic at all, avoid it. Pretty simple there. But for those who are interested in a ceremonial take of Dragon Magick, I think it's worth a read. I really do. It could give you a lot of inspiration, and you could even follow it as he has it laid out in here if you so chose. Because, as we know, there are plenty of Dragon Magick practitioners who do still use Conway's names for them. Why the Dragons insisted I change those names in my workings, I may never know. I know, well, okay, when it comes to Inga Salor, we know why he really did not like the name that she gave him, which is Fafnir. He did not like that because, first off, that's not a dragon. It was a dwarf shapeshifted into a dragon from Norse mythology. So to refer to that entity as a draconic ruler or a draconic god, as some people do, shows that they've not done their research in basic mythology. So I can see why he's a little annoyed with that one. The others didn't seem to have the same annoyance, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, he's got most of the stuff in here that you would expect to see. And it is still very, very light. It doesn't go in deeper to some of those areas as much like Conway, how she avoided. I know a lot of people said she was afraid to talk about the darker sides of magic, defensive magics and stuff. This kind of feels that same almost light and fluffy as well. But aside from that, it's worth a read. Worth a read. Check it out. Again, that's Draconia, which I don't know why he named it that. That sure ain't what they call their land. And again, the author is M A Ricard. Give it a check out. See what you think. And if you have read this, let's keep it pleasant. Keep it pleasant. Don't get rude or anything. But let me know what your thoughts on this particular take on Dragon Magick was down below in the comments. All right? And until next time, I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Bye-bye.